continuing to work with you and positively pivot in light of what's going on right now. What are some things that we can do? We talked about going over lab work. We talked about doing consults via telemedicine, telehealth, in order to keep moving forward on an individual level when we're kind of stuck standing still. How about some DIY remedies on top of the immune support that has been the number one concern, and for good reasons right now? What are some DIY things we can do in order to enhance health, especially in this time when things are kind of turned down? You might be at your house more often. At that point, it might be easier to adhere to some type of temporary supplemental enhancement protocol. So many times we talk about something called a heal and seal. We say heal and seal all the time. Nobody really knows a lot of times what we're talking about. When we talk about healing and sealing, we're talking about working towards optimal health. Healing and sealing the actual intestines and the far-reaching ramifications that can have on the rest of the body. Why do we do that? Well, we heal it for a number of reasons. Here's a couple that might be relevant to you and things we want to upgrade. Now, it can get damaged over times, either from a major insult, trauma, or otherwise, no doubt, but it's usually the inevitable exposure, the day-by-day exposure to that chemical, this chemical, that little bit of herbicide, that little bit of chemical toxin in the water. There's going to be inevitable damage over the time, and it's one of the reasons that we like to, and we have a lot of patients who do too, perform this on a annual or biannual basis, even if they are feeling fine, in order to tune up the area. Why do we heal it? Here's some things. We want to heal it. We want to heal the structures there. There's different structures within the gut wall. One of them houses an enzyme or a chemical in your body that breaks down histamine. If there's damage here, your ability to handle histamine will go down to a certain extent. That means reactions that are driven by histamine. So we're talking about your allergies. We're talking about the severity of symptoms during your monthly cycle. We're talking about migraine headaches. We're talking about reactions to certain foods, even skin outbreaks and things like that. A lot of them regulated by histamine to a certain degree. One of the enzymes, like we said, that breaks down histamine is within your gut wall. So if the gut is just hammered over time after time after time, you can heal this area, enhance your ability to handle and break down histamine. That's one reason. Another reason, nutrients, simple nutrients. You know, people get these complicated tests from time to time, and then all of a sudden you start adding up the supplements, like you start adding up the prescription drugs, which we never want to do with people. Swap out the drugs for the supplements. We want to empty the medicine cabinet, not fill it up with one thing or another, rather than be on the B12, the B6, this and that, the magnesium on top of that. Why don't we enhance our ability to utilize those nutrients, extract them from the food that we consume to begin with? That takes place within the gut wall. A lot of the digestive enzymes, sometimes people supplement with them, but a lot of the digestive enzymes come from the pancreas. A lot of them also come from different structures within your gut wall. So in order to get the most from your food, actually extract some of the nutrients from the food, that gut wall needs to be in place to excrete those enzymes to break down that food and pull in those various nutrients right there. We enhance this, all of a sudden we can even out or optimize some of those nutritional levels and then really see what we might be deficient in for one reason or another. Another thing we talk about is reseeding. We talk about the microbiome, and we talk about bacteria, the good flora, probiotics. We want to heal that wall because that is essentially the place where these probiotics, these good bacteria, are going to be living within the gut wall. We want to make a nice home for them, renovate, if you will, remodel, make it nice for them to take hold and live and do their thing. That is a key thing right there. Sealing, the other aspect of it. Due to damage over time, intestinal permeability, meaning unsealing of that gut wall. We want it to be sealed to a point where it lets nutrients in, but keeps all the other things out. The pathogens, inflammatory mediators, undigested foods. We want to keep that out of our blood flow. If it gets through the gut wall, it can get into the blood flow. Now that can cause increased inflammation. It can also cause increased immune reactivity, which over time can lead to going down the road of autoimmunity. And now that can happen on a local level where the stuff came through the gut wall, the undigested particles, the toxins, or what have you. Or if those toxins get through, those undigested particles get through and attach to, let's say, our thyroid gland, or attach to certain glands in the body, now we can start to see the autoimmune mechanism happen at those organs in the body. So we want to seal that gut wall, make it selectively permeable. Its intestinal permeability is the term we use for it, aka the leaky gut. Healing and sealing upregulates your nutritional status, creates a nicer place for those probiotics to live, seals the gut wall so we keep out what we don't want in and let in what we want in, which lowers inflammation and lowers our propensity for autoimmunity. And as we said, this can have a histamine effect as well. Now, optimally, we like to run this concurrent with some kind of dietary modification. It's not the end-all be-all, but we're speaking in levels right here. You can no doubt do some support, some supplemental support for 28, 30 days, depending on your starting point, and heal and seal this gut wall. Work towards it. Monitor your symptoms. See certain things start to move in the right direction. You can do that as a standalone, no doubt, and we have a lot of people who do. But to optimize your results, we can start to fine-tune the diet. A lot of the times we find just for this 28, 30-day period, we like to run this with something that we would, I guess for your own reference point, if you ever wanted to look it up, would be similar to an autoimmune paleo diet. You could look it up as an AIP diet. Seems restrictive, but the reason for it is it's eliminating a lot of the foods that require more work from the gut. It makes sense. If we're trying to heal a certain area, we want to give it as much time off as possible. We want to give it as much rest as possible. If we're constantly eating food that causes it to work harder and harder, we're really not leaving it any time to rest and recover. It's like overtraining for the gut, right? You need to rest and recover with physical training as well. A lot of these foods, too, that we eliminate for 28 to 30 days, if you can do it, are foods that are known to be generally hyperallergenic. You know, the grains, the wheat, the gluten, the dairy, things like that, corn, soy, things like that. Again, just taking a break, light at the end of the tunnel. It's not a death sentence as far as the menu goes, but a light at the end of the tunnel. Get through, let things calm down while you simultaneously enhance that region. And all of a sudden, you've taken it up to the next level. We've had some people, like we say, some people do this on a routine basis, present company included, but we've had some people wanting to do this at this time of, inertia around us. They've been like, what can I do in the meantime? Let's run this heal and seal protocol we've been talking about, or you talk about all the time. Keeping it safe with the current climate. What we've been doing is when we're in the office and we've been conducting some telemedicine, telehealth consults on the phone, we've also been here for people to pick up some of the immune boosting supplements, but also things like this and some of the other things we'll go into in a few days, but some of these heal and seal supplements. Just like we do if we work with someone who lives in New Jersey or California, they can provide their credit card information to us. We can run that without even, making contact with them. If we're in the office doing something else, they bring us when they get to the parking lot. We have the stuff bagged up for them. We can put it right outside the door for them. They can pick it up, and we could adhere to the guidelines of trying to keep that safe social distance and try to mitigate the spread of this thing as much as possible. So, like we said, giving you alternatives to move forward, giving you options, whatever works for you. We're here to help. Let's keep moving forward. Let's keep perpetuating positivity and health.